Movies, literature, politics, and show business. At one time or another, they all come to the Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, the fastest moving hour in radio. And for those of you new to this show, every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, we tackle the big stories in the world of law and politics, and we delve into the bizarre side of the news as well. So let's get to the topics. Issue number 1, Anthony Weiner. He has a date with destiny. You could call it a Tinder date with destiny because he's going to be sentenced on Monday. Issue number 2, will there be some R&R in the United States Senate? I'm talking about repeal and replace Obamacare. Maybe we don't want to put down a lot of money on that one. And finally, what does North Korea want? Was the Rocket Man rhetoric by the president gasoline on the fire, or is it just the kind of sort of cowboy image we need to get people in line, a la Ronald Reagan in the 80s? And also, we're going to get into the world of the bizarre. In California, we are going to actually have the option on your birth certificate of being gender neutral. So I think we're officially the most progressive folks in the country. So let's get to the panel. Our co-host Ken Jeffries, back from a bout of influenza. Welcome back, Ken.
Nothing to sneeze at, let me tell you.
And we've got
Thank you, sir.
Connor Oakes, our millennial correspondent. Welcome back, Connor.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ken, Connor and I soldiered on without you last week.
I
and
saw that. Good
I
show.
have
Good
to
show.
say, well, thank you. The thing was, we really wanted to reach out to the listeners to see if they could express their concern about your health, the get well messages. And Connor, unless I'm mistaken, gosh, we pitched that a couple of times. I don't think, Engineer Jose,
you're not
I don't
checking.
believe there was,
You're not
actually,
checking.
technically speaking. Now, and it's funny, Ken, because later in the show, just to see if the people were out there, we had a little informal poll. Best boy band ever. Would it be Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? I mean, the phones lit up like a Christmas tree.
Right.
Flooded. I think, Jose, didn't it
That's
blow
pretty
out?
embarrassing.
Blow out
That's
the
pretty
circuits?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went back to, we wanted to make sure, well, now we know people are there. We talked about Ken, or you want to express your concern? It was like crickets. And I don't get it.
You're checking the wrong mediums, Dad. I'm telling you, the Snapchat was blowing up. The
Maybe
show's
so.
official Snapchat, which totally exists.
Ken has a long and storied radio career, was with KFWB. That's where Ken and I met. We worked together there. And then now KABC radio
KABC, right.
reporter. And so it's a little shocking to me that there wasn't a more favorable response. But the important thing is you're back now. That's all.
I am back now. I will not be here next week. It's a religious holiday for me,
Right.
but that's another story. But I'll be back then the following week. How about that?
Absolutely. Now, I do want to get into this Anthony Weiner situation. And when I say a Tinder date with destiny, I don't know for sure that it was Tinder that got him into trouble, but something got him into trouble. I think it was somewhere in the
It's a woman named Tinder, I think.
cerebral
I don't think
cortex.
they allow women that age on Tinder. It's against the terms of use.
Pretty astounding. So he was texting his junk to a 15-year-old girl, sexually oriented messages.
Well, it's his junk. It's going to be sexually oriented, I think.
Brought down his career, brought down Huma Abedin's career.
Potentially Hillary Clinton's.
And Monday, exactly, I think that's true. Monday, we're going to hear from the judge. There's going to be a sentencing of Anthony Weiner. When we come back, we're going to analyze this on the Royal Oakes Show. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oakes Show.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and D.C. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. And, of course, we've got our panel, our musically oriented panel, to guess the name of this song.
That's of that song?
This song. Play it up a little higher, Jose.
I mean, they're repeating.
It's
I would say Holiday Road is
Rockin'
not
Out.
a bad guess.
Okay, well, you cheated a little bit by listening
Given
to the lyrics.
that's the lyric. And I would say that the artist is that Chevy Chase movie,
The
Family
Chevy Chase movie,
Vacation.
yeah, well,
that's all I got.
Vacation.
It was one of the vacations.
Didn't they use that as the theme song for multiple? I know
Yeah,
it was on the
yeah.
Summer Vacation, the first one.
After Chevy Chase's one season on SNL, he said, "I'm done with this. I'm out. I'm going straight to movies."
A little higher, Jose, because we got to see if they can actually guess the artist. Give you a hint. LB are his initials.
LB?
LB.
LeBron James? That's LBJ. I'm sorry.
That's LBJ.
Good guess.
LB. LB.
Lindsey Buckingham.
Lindsey
with
Buckingham,
Holiday Road.
of course.
Lindsey Buckingham?
We'll have more opportunities later in the show, guys.
It's just not
We are
fair.
going to talk
It's
about
not
Anthony
fair.
Weiner, but off the air, we were chatting about Jerry Lewis, legendary figure. I was an
Yeah.
enormous fan.
Yeah.
I actually dragged Connor to see Jerry Lewis live.
It was
about-
hardly kicking and screaming. It's not my generation, but it was great to see him.
It was good. Was it, 2 years, 3 years ago?
At least 2 years,
We saw him at the Saban Theater, and it was a one-man show. He came out under his own power. He was a little wobbly, but
Yeah.
he walked to the chair, and so he sat down
Right.
in the middle, and he did his shtick. He did the reminiscences. He did the pantomiming with the...
Lady.
Yeah, the Hey
no.
Lady. Well, he didn't do the Hey Lady. I think he may have retired that. So he's passed on to the great Borscht Belt in the sky.
Brown's
And-
Hotel
Yeah.
in Loch Sheldrake, New York.
And so the sad headline everybody's been talking about this week is that Jerry Lewis stiffed his 5 or 6 sons, every single one of them out of the will.
Right.
When you write a will, if you want to make sure that somebody you don't like doesn't get it, you can't just ignore them and say, I give it to Wilbur Schmedlap. You have to say, and by the way, I don't give it to A, B, C, D, and E. And that's what he did.
Yeah, he did.
The kids are out. The sons are out of the wife he was married to and divorced, I guess, in the 40s. Maybe early 50s.
in the 50s.
That does
yeah,
make it
and actually,
sting.
I think in the 60s,
Yeah.
in the early 60s.
And so
but yeah, that's right.
everybody's out except his current wife and I believe the adopted daughter. So that's
I
kind
think
of
so.
sad. That
It is, yeah. There were a few things about Jerry Lewis that have come out that he was not really a nice man, and there were things that I knew too about the telethon because I worked the telethon twice.
Oh, really?
On local stations back east and previous
Were
radio
you juggling
incarnations.
or
No, I wasn't on the national
spinning
telethon.
plates?
No, I answered phones and stuff. There were the
Oh,
local.
okay,
One of
okay.
them was in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and the next market was Lafayette, Indiana, and I ran the fishbowl outside the television station, and they would cut to me. We'll be getting $5,000. We ended up, I think, with $5,000 in the fishbowl for muscular dystrophy. There was a thing where, and I'll tell us real fast, but I was supposed to, and I didn't know this till later, but I was supposed to get a pie in the face.
really? Just like Soupy Sales?
Yeah, kind of like Soupy Sales, but they didn't do it because that was during one of Jerry's serious hours.
Oh.
And so that's how I found out they programmed the telethon in that way where certain hours he would be serious and certain hours he would be funny. And so that's just a little bit behind the scenes of the way the telethon ran.
Well, it's such a
supposedly.
generational thing. I'm a big fan. I loved his movies in the 60s, The Nutty Professor, wondering a lot of people think that was his big deal. So when I dragged you to see him, Connor, 2 or 3 years ago, I'm guessing the millennial connection with Jerry Lewis just isn't there. You were interested in him sort of as a historical artifact, but not a big fan.
As a generational phenomena, he's definitely dated in terms of millennials recognizing his name probably would be in double digits.
And even within the United States versus France, for example, a lot of people in the U.S. think, didn't do anything for me, but the French thought he was a genius.
I don't understand
You
it.
never
but
got it.
It's an acquired taste, I guess. But, he was a legend, and now he's gone.
So another thing that people just don't understand is Anthony Weiner. I thought from the beginning that this guy had a screw loose, because I remember long before there was any kind of trouble with Anthony Weiner, when he was in Congress, I was, surfing and I saw him on C-SPAN, and he was foaming at the mouth. It was like spittle flying. He was just the anger management problem was there, and I thought, there's something weird mentally about this guy. And so a few years go by, and we hear this publicity about him, sexting with people, and he was forced to leave Congress. And then he kind of makes a comeback. He's running for mayor of New York. They're making a documentary about
that was
it.
a big deal in New York. He would have been my congressman back in Queens. I didn't know him then, but he would from that area.
So then it turns out he never stopped the bad stuff. He kept texting. Now, to me, that's kind of a form of mental illness when you are totally tossing your career away and jeopardizing your wife, who had this really huge job. Basically, she's the closest person to Hillary Clinton on the planet.
Yeah.
She's right there with her throughout everything, the Senate, Secretary of State, running for president, and boom, it caused her career to implode. And I think a lot of people would argue that but for Anthony Weiner, Hillary would have been president. Because
possible.
You remember what happened? And Comey gave his press conference in July 2016 saying, Hillary's a terrible person, but I'm not going to recommend charges. And then, 10, 11 days before the election in October 2016, the reason Comey felt obligated to reopen the investigation and tell the world we're looking at emails again was because of Anthony Weiner's laptop that the feds seized in connection with investigating him, not Hillary. And in the course of looking at his laptop, they noticed, oh my gosh, tens of thousands of emails involving Huma and Hillary and so on. And that's why, and if you read Hillary's book, she was not exactly happy.
Have you read it now? Have you read the book?
I got through it. It wasn't easy, but I got through it. And basically, it's all about Comey. She blames Comey start to finish for all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here he is. He has been found guilty of doing a plea bargain, of distributing obscene material to a minor. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. What, if you guys were king, if you were the judge, what would you give this guy in terms of a sentence? And by the way, let me give out the phone in case anybody wants to weigh in on this, 818-818-6401, 818-818-6401, or you can tweet us at CRN Digital Talk. So if you were sitting there with the black robe, what kind of sentence would you give Anthony Weiner for this?
I think because of exactly what you said, it seems like
He's been punished enough?
Not exactly, but he's got a compulsion. He's driven to do this, which indicates that he's got some sort of disease. This is, however we want to diagnose it or describe it, this seems like it's out of his control. And that's not to say that he should escape our scorn for what he's done, but at the same time, treatment where he's prevented from sliding into anybody's direct messages here and offending or hurting any people who are underage. If he's off the streets, he doesn't need to be in the big house exactly.
Off the streets, but in his den with his computer. So that's a problem.
So maybe he needs treatment, but I don't know that he needs to rot in the slammer.
All right, Judge Jeffries.
I think you should put him in for about a day with a bunch of angry Democrats. Hillary, and put him in with Hillary.
Hillary. How about a cage fight?
A cage fight,
Fight with Hillary.
I predict Hillary wins.
Absolutely.
And Vince McMahon, WWE.
Absolutely.
So
she's got a chair.
So the prosecution is looking at 21 to 27 months. They think that would be about right. It's a maximum of 10 years. And I'm glad you're sitting down because this is going to shock you. His lawyers say, probation.
Oh, come on.
We don't actually need technically any jail time.
And
they're actually trying to blame the victim because what they're saying is that the 15-year-old to whom he sent these texts has been trying to make some money off of it, make some deals with the media. Wow. So they're trying to blame the victim. So we're going to find out on Monday, and I bet Ken Jeffries, reporter for KBC, is going to be on the story, letting people know his fate. When we come back, folks, We're going to be talking about North Korea.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and DC. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries, our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes, and we do like our guys to earn their keep around here by guessing the song. Now, I predicted before we started, I know Ken Jeffries, former disc jockey, is going to know this one.
If he has any chance, I'll go first. Benny and the Jets.
Not even close, Connor.
Singing the Star Spangled Banner.
Good guess.
Good guess. It's not Little Kim's theme song, Rocket Man.
No.
It's not that. And we can get into the battle of the Elton John insults, by the way, between North Korea
pretty good.
and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that.
I know this.
Elton John, just because of the Rocket Man connection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ID the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hamilton, Joe, Frank, and Reynolds. Sounds like a law firm, like Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe or something.
It does sound weird.
Sorry, but don't mean to give lawyers a bad name now.
I knew Ken would get that. Don't pull your love out.
Don't pull your love. It's the Anthony Weiner song.
Hamilton, Joe, Frank, and Reynolds. A classic from, I think, the late 60s.
And actually, it was on Sirius XM on the when the year did that come out? 60s or 70s channel. And they run Casey Kasem also, the old American Top 40s on the 70s channel. And Casey started to say stuff like, in 1968.
That's right.
It's my impression of Hubert Humphrey doing.
He was fabulous. His top
talking
40,
about how the group was formed and so on. But that was
top 40 countdown. Okay, so everybody's talking about North Korea, and I want to get your take on this. Maybe I have a contrarian view, But when Donald Trump stands up in front of the United Nations and calls this guy Rocket Man, I mean, can you imagine?
Unbelievable.
Franklin Roosevelt,
No.
Making up a little nickname
Incredible.
for Adolf Hitler. It is incredible.
I was told that was not in his speech, by the way. And
Improv.
Did you see the picture of the so-called face palm that?
Yeah. General Kelly.
General Kelly.
General
the chief of
Kelly
staff
in the
went like
audience.
this,
That was
went
his
like this.
reaction.
For those of you not watching on television, I can't describe it. But
Incredible.
But
It's a face
it was
palm.
Well, it's
Scully.
interesting.
Put his
I
head in his
heard
hand and-
that what he did was contrary to the advice of his staff.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Right.
hear it was like an improv moment. You're saying that it wasn't even built into the
I thought I read that it was
Correct.
not on the prompter. And
Right.
was that right?
You're right. It was Rocket Man was not on the
All right.
prompter, and he added it.
So people are saying this is throwing gasoline on the fire. It's not only weird and unprecedented, they're also saying it destroys the chance for negotiation because this guy, it's gotten personal now, and Rocket Man is not going to be in any kind of mood to talk and so on.
I actually disagree, but not in supporting Trump. I think that this is a terrible move by Trump exactly because it will eventually invite negotiation. There is only one explanation for North Korea's actions and Kim Jong-un's actions. He is not an unbalanced individual acting for no reason at all. He is, and his regime is currently suffering greatly under massive international sanctions that are choking their country out. And the only way that they can alter that situation, the only way they can change it, is to escalate things higher and higher and higher. And the more attention they get, the easier it is for them to escalate things higher and higher until a point where the international community is completely unwilling to live with the status quo of escalation, and then he gets to argue backwards for reductions of current sanctions.
All right,
so
here's
that's the only reason that he's making.
Here's my take.
Play.
I have a slightly different view. Here's my view. I think there's an argument for what Trump did as being smart, and here's why. What we have is a track record of North Korea acting very nutty. And nutty in the sense that they're dangerous, they're developing nuclear weapons, and they're always angling for getting to that negotiation table where they get some goodies.
Yeah.
Sanctions, money, military help, whatever, in response to the craziness that they have pulled. And that's their MO. That's what they did in the 90s. People are still criticizing Clinton for kind of giving in. I think that what Trump is doing is essentially saying, we're not going to play that game anymore. Instead, we're calling your bluff, and there are only two ways to go. Either you back off from the nuclear development program, or you are going to be devastated by economic sanctions. And the key is for Trump to get Russia and China to come along.
Absolutely.
And China is motivated to help out because China knows that if there were, for example, an outbreak of hostilities, if there were to launch bombs into South Korea, if there were to be a nuclear exchange, millions upon millions of North Koreans are going to be flooding into
Across
China
the border,
across the border and ruining China because it's a very disruptive ethnic situation there.
Yeah. No, you're right. The
So
threat-
my
yeah.
theory is that Trump is essentially saying we're going to come up with a deal, and you either take it without going to some fancy hall where we negotiate, or you're basically going to die because the sanctions are going to choke you, and there's going to be nothing left.
The threat of new sanctions and possible passage of new sanctions is the only thing that I think Trump has actually done correct.
Well, we'll see, I guess, in the next few weeks. I think, there was very bellicose language in the 60s and 70s with Mao Zedong in China. Khrushchev, you'll recall, said, we will bury you. Exactly. So it's nothing new to have really horrific language going back and forth. I think people will calm down, and either Trump will be able to cut a deal with the Chinese or he won't. We are going to be back in a few minutes. Stay with us here on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Credit cards are sure fun to use, perhaps a little addicting, and they kind of make you feel rich. Well, if you're like most Americans, you've got over 5 maxed out credit cards in your pocket right now, and you can barely make the minimum payments, right? I'd like to personally recommend a company called DebtHelper.com. DebtHelper.com is a licensed and insured nonprofit debt management agency. They can help cut your interest rates by as much as 50% and lower your monthly payments, saving you thousands of dollars in finance charges on your credit card bills. DebtHelper.com does not lend money. Debt Helper's program could have you paying off your credit card debt in full in a 3 to 5 year period. Call DebtHelper.com right now for your free confidential consultation today. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. Credit Card Management Services, Inc. DBA, DebtHelper.com. 1325 North Congress Avenue, number 201, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. Down payment of debt may be creditors to increase finance and other charges or undertake collection activity, including litigation.
Experience the romantic getaway you deserve at Maui's premier bed and breakfast, the Plantation Inn. With plantation-style architecture and decor combined with modern amenities such as dual rain showers and whirlpool hot tubs, guests relax in a tranquil oasis in the heart of Maui's historic Lahaina town. The inn is situated conveniently less than 2 blocks from Lahaina Harbor, as well as the famous Front Street, known for its range of shops, restaurants, gallery walks, and museums. The Plantation Inn is home to Gerard's Restaurant, voted Open Table's top most romantic restaurants in North America. Chef Gerard's contemporary island French cuisine consistently earns some of the highest ratings in Hawaii. Come discover why Hawaii Magazine readers named the Plantation Inn #1 best bed and breakfast in Hawaii. Visit theplantationinn.com or call us at 667-9225.
The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-997-0151. 800-997-0151. 800-997-0151. That's 800-997-0151.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was the location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal, marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for 2. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. And I bet you guys are up to the challenge here. I bet you have an idea.
Can I just start guessing the
song?
decade instead of the song?
Yeah, go ahead.
Artist?
Guess the decade.
70s.
I'll give you a hint. Ronald Reagan era.
Okay, 80s. Yes, got it. Nailed it.
Okay, we
Pull
got the
that back.
80s.
I think I know who did it.
Okay.
I think it's the Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's, exactly
it sounds
right.
Like the Go-Go, but I don't know what's.
Yeah, pump it up there, Jose. Let's
Linda
see.
Carlisle, Newbury Park High School.
Linda Carlisle.
After that, their career went.
But you're not coming up with the name of the song.
No, I don't know. It's not Vacation. It's not.
Now listen to this. Listen to this. Here we go. Head over heels. See, when you hear the words, that's like cheating, you know?
All right, who was the drummer?
I couldn't tell
Jane
you.
Wiedlin.
Ringo.
I tell you, the
Was it
keyboardist.
Ringo was the drummer.
Ringo. It's the only
Probably
drummer I know.
Richard Starkey.
Belinda Carlisle, and I forget who else was in that band. But
By the way, Lauren and I watched Hard Day's Night the other night again after 40 years, 50 years.
Holds
if
up.
you haven't seen it, oh my gosh. Well, I read it. I watched it because I was reading a book by Roger Ebert about the 100 greatest movies in his opinion, and he gave a glowing review
Really?
to Hard Day's Night. And I probably saw it about the time it came out in 1964.
64,
I don't know that
or
I've seen it.
5, yeah. It was,
Yeah,
I
and
remember. I
we
saw it.
watched it, and I got to tell you, I would recommend going back into the archives and seeing Hard Day's Night. I mean, the energy.
It holds up.
Yeah, it's like one of his points in his review is that it kind of kicked off the 60s until that movie, until the Beatles came along with the hair and the attitude. We were still a holdover from the 50s.
The 50s.
You know,
Well,
the button-down
and we were
kind of,
just-
what am I
and-
saying? I'm wearing a button-down shirt.
There it is.
And,
But
we,
yeah,
and
it
we
was-
were just getting over it. They came at the right time. We were just getting the Kennedy assassination.
Right.
And when you look real quick at the music charts in those days, what they were playing in the big stations like in New York, where I grew up, WABC was a big rock and roll station. Dominique, the singing, because the nation was in such a bad mood after JFK was shot.
Yeah.
Dominique, the singing nun, was #1.
Really?
Yep, and for a couple of weeks because we didn't feel like in the
Wasn't
mood to
Debbie
rock and
Reynolds
roll.
in that too?
Huh?
Wasn't she?
She was in the movie, but it was Sour Sourier, the singing nun.
Okay.
Why do I know this? For a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden, then in late 1963, Jack Parr, remember Jack Parr?
Yeah, absolutely.
He had a Friday night show on NBC, and he would present suddenly these films from Liverpool showing kids going ape blank.
Yeah.
Over this group, the mob, it's called the Beatles, and I watched this as a kid. I'll go, this is pretty amazing. And a few weeks later, Ed Sullivan, the
I
Hard Day's
remember
Night
as a
came
kid.
out, and all that kind of stuff. And then, not a Hard Day's Night. I'm sorry, She Loves You. What was it? I Want to Hold Your Hand.
I Wanna Hold
came
Your
out
Hand.
first,
That
and
was
so
the-
on,
that was
and
the
that
big
the other.
song.
And then Beatlemania, started. to
Well,
take off
when the
and
nation
so on.
wants to lose its mind, Beatlemania is the perfect
But it needed
opportunity.
an antidote to the JFK assassination.
Yeah, exactly.
Pull it out of and the
Exactly.
Beatles. That's why the Beatles they were so carefree and all of that with
Yeah.
youth and vigor. And remember, with JFK, we had vigor or Viga, as they used to call
Yeah.
it. And maybe it restored some of the vigor.
No,
that-
it kind of
and
introduced
so
the
on.
60s, and
into this country.
Roger Ebert's point is that it was as if they gave people permission to react, to rebel, to be revolutionary. Because when you look at the movie again, Hard Day's Night, I mean, there are themes in there about rebelling. I mean, Ringo is walking along the side of the river, and he's revolting, and he doesn't want to do what everybody wants him to do. It's like they were sending these subliminal messages, plus the hair and so on. It's okay to go against the system, and it was like an introduction, a wedge into culture. So yeah, it was
It started with them, but it really a lot of it was to help really recover from the JFK assassination, in my opinion.
You sold me. I'll get it on Netflix.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. And it's funny, Elvis Presley saw them as outlaws and revolutionary, and that's why he showed up to the White House when Nixon was president, and he gave him a gun, and the Secret Service had to take the gun away from him. But he said, I think the Beatles are bad for America. I want to go undercover as a drug agent, and Mr. President, if you'll give me a badge, then I can go undercover, like, you wouldn't wear the cape.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Presley was...
Can you imagine? I'd love to see a videotape of that meeting. And we know about the meeting. We've seen the pictures of Elvis and Nixon shaking hands.
Sure. Have you seen the Kevin Spacey movie?
No.
Kevin Spacey played Nixon in the movie The Day Nixon Met Elvis. And
That's the name of the movie?
Basically, it's close. The way it came about is that Elvis wanted to meet the president. The initial reaction by Bob Haldeman was no, terrible idea.
Duh.
Julie Nixon got wind of the fact that Elvis wanted to meet her dad, and she gave a call to Dad, and next thing you know, yes.
And liberals are saying Ivanka Trump doesn't have the power to influence the current administration. That's hogwash. Look at Nixon's daughter. She can make some moves.
That's
but
right.
she doesn't. She sits on her butt and sells her clothes.
So this week we're going to get a big decision out of the Congress as to whether they are going to repeal and replace Obamacare. And to get into the Grateful Dead image, what a long, strange trip it's been.
And once we lose our health care, we'll all be dead, so that's perfect.
So it was 2010, I think, that the Obamacare was passed, I believe, a couple
Something
of years
like that,
into the
yeah.
Obama administration. And how many dozens, scores of times did the Republicans running the Senate and the House during the Obama era pass these pointless symbolic votes, let's repeal Obamacare, knowing absolutely had no chance of success.
Right.
Because no matter what the Congress said, they didn't have a two-thirds majority, so they couldn't overcome the president's veto.
And they could get positive press for doing it, and they'd get no negative press because everyone expected them to fail, so it didn't look like a big failure on the front page. But now, every time they try...
2017 rolls around.
Yeah.
There's a Republican in the White House who is desperate to get rid of Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans control both the Senate and the House.
Mm-hmm.
And until this reconciliation thing runs out on September 30, all the Republicans need is a majority.
50.
And they couldn't do it. I mean, you talk about a do-nothing Congress, as
Yeah.
Harry Truman put it, to help himself win in 1948. I mean, this is just a colossal failure by the Republicans.
It's almost like the Republicans, for almost a decade now, have been ginning up ridiculous opposition to Obamacare, even though it was the Republican, originally capitalist free market plan cooked up in the 90s for health care.
It was really like Romney Care.
It's almost like it is the capitalist free market, slightly modified solution
but isn't
that Republicans only ran against because they ran against Obamacare.
They hated
it's the name Obama they hated.
I think the name Obama. I think they hate Obama.
Yeah.
They want to erase the fact that he was president. This gets into a lot of deep-seated and is, quite frankly, I think there's racism involved too.
But they can't
But
do
that's another
anything
story.
better on health care because they already got their capitalist solution.
But isn't the truly weird part of it the fact that these politicians, these political animals, the most political entities on the planet, members of the U.S. Congress, couldn't get their act together to compromise? I mean, okay, you've got Tea Partiers and you've got liberal Republicans and you've got moderates. They couldn't get together in a room and say, guys, this is our one chance to get rid of Obamacare. We all basically hate it.
Yeah.
Can't we agree on something? Total failure.
Total failure. They're all afraid of not getting
When
reelected.
we come back, I'm going to explain to you my defense for pre-existing conditions, whether you like it or not, on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. We challenge our co-host, our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes, Ken Jeffries.
Obviously, I know this one, so Ken's got to go first.
It sounds like Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Oh, boy.
And stayed
Oh,
there.
boy.
No, I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I
This
don't
is
know.
Psy,
this.
Gangnam Style. Biggest song
Oh,
on
it's
the
Psy?
planet. Yeah.
Oh, my. Oh.
So it's
it's funny. I thought of him today because of Trump and versus Little Kim.
Oh,
You know,
so he
the
somewhat
Korean
resembles the leader, yeah.
thing. Well, kind of.
Now, first of all, let's get the name. So PSY is the spelling.
PSY. Yeah.
Is there some is that like short for psychologically imbalanced?
No.
Why would he be called Psy?
No, I have no idea. I assume it has something to do with the language Korean, not
Okay,
English.
now I want to get this straight, Ken, because I know you're a big music guy. it's almost as if you don't have this immediate intimate connection with Gangnam Style, even though it was the biggest thing on the planet.
I remember, and I also saw another thing which made me think of him today was Ryan Seacrest today was on something online talking about Mariah Carey's performance last New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay.
And about how it wasn't
horrific.
Ryan's that was Mariah's fault. And I suddenly remembered a couple of years ago Gangnam Style. They had Sion doing Gangnam Style. So that's
There we are. There's the
to
connection.
give you an idea of how huge this was, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any doubt about how big this was, go on the internet, go to YouTube, put in Gangnam Style.
Oh my God!
You're going to do it for us right now, Connor.
We'll never get this out of my head now.
You're gonna be blown away by how many times people have taken a peek at the Gangnam Style song.
If it's not still the top of the charts, the actual most played video on the internet, I'll be shocked.
I
But
believe it is over 900 million
it's
times.
pretty wild.
Do you have a number there for us?
13 million. Sorry, 2.9 billion
Oh, okay,
views.
so I was-
13 million
I was way under.
likes.
It's like a Dr. Evil thing. A billion,
billion views. I mean, that's.
I would say that's a quarter of the population, except some people probably go 20 and 30 times. So you
that's
can't really
that's
count
the
it.
issue.
All
Like
right,
me, I fall asleep to it every
Then
night.
who wrote the song? It's not a Gershwin thing, is it?
Maybe Cy wrote it himself.
Maybe
Who knows?
Fred Gershwin or somebody.
All right, so we've been talking about Obamacare. We've been talking about the idea of repealing and replacing it, and the crunch is happening now. And the dramatic announcement was made by John McCain just as he gave it the thumbs down, literally, at that 1 a.m. session several weeks ago when it was going to be Obamacare, the skinny light reform. Just yesterday, I think he announced, sorry, my friend Lindsey Graham is terrific, but I'm not going for the Graham Cassidy approach. And so that's going to kill it because the Republicans also have lost Rand Paul because he's Mr. Libertarian and he's a purist, and he's saying, I'm not going to vote for this, even though several months ago he said, well, it's better than what we've got now. Well, he no longer believes that, and so he's not going to vote for it. And the two ladies,
Susan
Collins and Murkowski, Maine and Alaska, so these four
they
Republicans,
probably won't, though. Collins might be on the fence.
Right.
The incredible, unbelievable Murkowski deal where she almost got the deal that Alaska would get to keep Obamacare when no other state did. The idea that she'd be okay with subjecting the rest of the country to it while she couldn't subject her own constituents to it is wild.
Well, was that floated?
That was the ideal. She was she's going to have the only state that gets to keep Obamacare.
But is she going to vote for this thing? Who the heck knows what?
Who knows?
But that's contingent on that, isn't
at this point, it really doesn't matter because the Republicans have got the 52 votes, which means they can lose 2 because if it's 50-50, then Pence breaks the tie. But they can't lose 3. Well, they've lost McCain, and they've lost Rand
and they've
Paul.
lost Collins.
Right, and so it doesn't
And
matter.
probably Collins.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it'd be, I guess, a miracle if both of the ladies.
Yeah, I was wondering what
changed
deal they
their
made with
mind.
Murkowski to, now I know.
Maybe if Trump just has them over for tea at the White House, do you think that would help?
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to be a dead letter. But we talked about it last week. Actually, Ken, Connor, and I were talking about Obamacare, and I made a comment, and I actually got some negative reactions, and I actually like to respond to the viewers. And in case you're watching on the video version of this, I want to connect with everybody who was critical because some people really objected to the idea that I was in favor of pre-existing conditions, and I would
As
like
a disqualifier for coverage.
Yes, exactly right.
A disqualifier.
Right. Pre-existing conditions, right. And I'd like to explain my position. And the example I gave last week was this. If I want to insure my house and I go into my insurance agent and I say, please sell me a policy of fire insurance. And he says, oh, that's great, Royal. I'll sell it to you. Where is your house? And I say, oh, it's the one right across the street. And he says, oh, my God, Royal, it's on fire. And I said, yeah, I know it's on fire. Why do you think I'm here for insurance? He says, well, I can't insure you if you're on fire. And I would say, but pre-existing conditions can't disqualify me. Now, I got some heat for that. I got some feedback from people who say, how can you do that? That's terrible. Well, here's my answer. There's insurance and there's free stuff. If you're going to sell insurance, you have to talk about pre-existing conditions, whether it's health or fire or life or anything else. Because if you don't consider pre-existing conditions, it's not insurance. It's just, oh, you're going to have a gigantic loss in a week. It doesn't matter. Here's the policy. Now, If you don't want insurance, that's fine. You can just have free stuff. If you believe in single payer, then let's do that.
Well, that's
the problem
the
with
issue.
single payer is it doesn't always work that well.
So that's the issue. When you say that's not insurance, you're right. Insurance,
It's benefits.
Insurance in America is not just insurance. Insurance in America is the capitalist free market method of implementing a social safety net for people who experience catastrophic medical emergencies. So if you want to use private insurance as our social safety net, which we've decided as a nation is good because capitalist free market produces good outcomes and we want to use that instead of having the government pay for everything, then you need to have the government turn healthcare into an excludable good by laying down some laws to ensure that everybody can use that social safety net.
That's right, and that's what we've done. We've got Medicare and Medicaid and private charity and private insurance. It's a system where everybody
If
coexists.
you want it to apply to the middle class, though, sometimes you need to use other rules like allowing...
We'll be right
pre-existing
back. Stay with
conditions.
us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644. Mortgage rates are at all-time lows. If you have not refinanced your current mortgage in the last few years, you could be losing thousands of dollars a year by paying too high of an APR. And the place to call is LendingTree to find out how low you can go. We can match you with lenders offering some of the lowest rates APRs available. Some APRs are lower than 3%. Imagine how much money you can save every month if your current mortgage is at 6% or higher. And all it takes is one free call to LendingTree to match you with a lender who may be able to lower your current home mortgage rate. Learn how to potentially save thousands by refinancing your current mortgage. Call LendingTree right now. NMLS 1136.
800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. That's 800-628-5067.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the Art of the Masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
You got hair, long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, screaming, oxen, waxing. Give me down to there, and shoulder length longer.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. All right, gentlemen, get your guesses in.
Yeah, at first I thought it was the cast recording of Hair, but it's not. It's the Cowsills.
Exactly, the Cowsills.
God.
This is the original, right? I mean, this is the
original
one that was played all the radio on the radio.
Yeah, the
all
Cowsills were, and right, and then they did what? The Rain, the Park, and the other things, which I'm still trying to figure out what those other things are.
Yeah, I would never have gotten the artist. I would have gotten Hair.
Okay.
But,
yeah, they were before. They were before your time.
Just a little bit
They were before your time. Yeah.
So, speaking of decades and decades ago, the president has a lawyer on his team, and his name is Ty Cobb.
He's got a couple.
Yes.
What is that all about? How does he have a lawyer named Ty Cobb? I mean, what are we going to have? Attorney General Babe Ruth next?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Secretary of State Grover Cleveland Alexander? I just think that's a pretty weird coincidence.
Maybe Vin Scully could join the family.
I just love seeing Ty Cobb's name in the news. And he was recently, as a result of being Trump's lawyer. He and another lawyer were in a D.C. steakhouse loudly arguing over the disclosure of documents from one group of Trump lawyers to another group of administration lawyers.
Yeah, how stupid was that?
So loud that a New York Times reporter sitting in an adjacent table is snapping photos and live tweeting.
And he was on MSNBC talking about it, too. I saw that.
Insanely irresponsible to
really
be talking about this.
You wonder if maybe they were kind of puffed up with themselves. Oh, well, we're the president's lawyers. And so, we're going to sort of loudly talk about this. And if people hear us, maybe they'll recognize us. Maybe there was something like that going on.
Ego.
Very
I mean,
stupid.
everybody involved in this administration has such an unbelievably uncontrolled ego. It's just growing. Like
the president told me.
I'm Scaramucci
over here.
Well, somebody mentioned that there's this train line called the Acela between like Boston.
Yeah, there is.
It's
kind of like an Amtrak. Maybe it is part of Amtrak, but it's called Acela.
And it's the standard line between like Washington and New York. And somebody was saying that people in the government have known for a long time when you're riding the Acela, you don't start blabbing loudly because you don't know who, some kind of press representative or whatever might be nearby. So, it's pretty stupid. Speaking of Ty Cobb, did you read any of his biographies? Because apparently he was like a mental patient.
Yeah,
he
I read
shine
one.
his spikes to a razor's edge, and he would just steam into people in second base.
Supposedly he was a nasty man.
Horrible, horrible man. I mean, the biography I read of him described him as some sort of grizzled, in his age at least, grizzled sociopath who acted to intentionally hurt others.
Which makes him perfect to be Trump's lawyer, actually.
I heard a great story about him. He had the highest batting average of any baseball player in history, something like 375. And so when he was, decades later, at age 75, reporter's interviewing him, and the reporter says, well, Mr. Cobb, if you were playing today, how would you do against all these pitchers today? And he said, I think I'd hit about 300. And only 300? And he said, well, I'm 75 years old.
Just savage.
So he was like
savage.
He was like the Jerry. He was like the Jerry Lewis of the of the baseball world. So I mentioned at the top of the show, we are leading in progressivism in California because officially now the legislature is about to say if you have a birth certificate, you are entitled to fill it out as male or female or non-binary. You can just leave it blank and say, who knows what might happen.
Thank goodness. A development that we have long awaited and is a very, very positive development because you've got kids born with ambiguous genitalia is the medical term. You've got kids who are just described later in life might identify
known as
themselves
AG?
Usually it's described later in life as intersex. And for those people, until you do chromosomal testing and sometimes you find out they're XXY, why are they pigeonholed into having a birth certificate that says either male or female that could, under our current administration, for example, screw them later in life?
I'm betting that this whole idea of the gender-neutral birth certificate is not going to be spreading to Alabama or Mississippi anytime soon.
So? You think Roy Moore is going to be in favor?
Ken Jeffries, we're so glad you've overcome that bout with influenza.
Thank you so much.
It was fantastic to have you back. Thank you, and thank you, Millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week on the Royal Oak Show. Have a fabulous week.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the